এইবাৰ মঞ্চত উপবিষ্ট বিশিষ্ট অতিথিসকলক সম্বৰ্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰিবলৈ উদ্যোক্তাসকলক অনুৰোধ জনাইছো। প্ৰতিগৰাকী অতিথিক গামোচা, শৰাই আৰু জাপিৰে সম্বৰ্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰা হ'ব।
Gamusa is a hand-woven cloth with beautiful motifs and is offered to honor guests as a mark of reverence. Gamusa is used by all Assamese across ethnicities and is very dear to us all. Japi is a traditional Assamese hat used while performing the Bihu dance, placed in home as a welcome sign and offered to persons of distinction as a sign of respect. It is also a symbol of the agrarian society. Horai, an artifact made of bell metal, is a traditional symbol of Assam that is considered to be an article of great respect.
ধন্যবাদ জনাইছো।
We would now showcase an audio-visual presentation on the book Modi at 20, Dreams Meet Delivery.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा।
Leader, statesman, visionary. In a journey spanning 20 years, Shri Narendra Modi has played many roles. As a three-time Chief Minister of Gujarat, he led the state's transformation from relative underdevelopment to one of India's most prosperous and fastest growing states.
मैं मॉडर्नाइजेशन का पक्षकार हूं, लेकिन मॉडर्नाइजेशन विदाउट वेस्टर्नाइजेशन।
As a two-term Prime Minister, he continues to unshackle India with far-reaching socio-economic reforms that has empowered 1.3 billion Indians in more ways than ever before. As a statesman, he's amongst a select few world leaders to simultaneously win the respect of nations that oppose each other. Modi at 20, Dreams Meet Delivery, brings together intellectuals, policymakers, industry leaders and experts across varied fields to chronicle the shaping of new India that is both in tune with its civilizational moorings as well as modern in outlook and achievements. Modi at 20 offers a holistic view of 2 decades of Narendra Modi. On 7th October 2021, Shri Modi completed 20 continuous years as head of democratically elected governments, 12.5 years as Chief Minister of Gujarat, and 7.5 years and counting as the Prime Minister of India. The phenomenon becomes unique when seen in the light that before 2001, Shri Modi had never held any elected office. Since then, he's remained undefeated in 5 consecutive elections: 2002, 2007 and 2012 as Chief Ministerial Candidate in Gujarat, 2014 and 2019 as Prime Ministerial Candidate, and his popularity has only grown with time. Let us listen from the authors of the various chapters themselves as they take us through the unique insights that they offer in their respective chapters.
Narendra Modi's unstinting support to entrepreneurs, to the startup world, to people who build the nation through enterprise has been unstable over his entire journey. And I've had the privilege of being associated with him through this entire period of 20 years.
Modi ji has repeatedly emphasized that our nation must transition from women's development to women-led development.
In my article, I have written that what a modular approach meant to him. How one project led to another project, then to the third project, and ultimately the final message was being of the masses. For him, it is nation which matters, and he always thought that he lived for the nation.
I have given a true incident. 20 years back, I met mother and a child. A mother was a cook, a child was going to school, and I met them and I talked to them. The lady, the mother, told me that she wants her daughter should become a receptionist, and that is her aim in life. Now the girl has become an entrepreneur. I asked her why it happened, how it happened, and what is the reason. She said, I have changed in 20 years. Government is extremely supportive in all their schemes, and she was telling that how her parents have a bank account. A great leader can inspire people. He can bring a wind of change in many directions. And that is what has happened in our country.
Gujarat's agriculture achieved a tremendous rate of growth of 9.2% per annum. This is unheard of in the Indian history of agriculture in any state. I would say this is the first time in the history of thousands of years of India, India has exported 20 million tons of rice in 21-22 in a global market of about 50 million tons.
PM Modi says that India's attitude towards meeting its goals has changed from chalta hai to badal sakta hai, which has struck a chord with me. This is the same attitude that a young person brings to whatever he or she approaches. It is the same attitude that PM Modi has shown in governance too.
I've looked deeply at the environmental and ecological leadership provided by Mr. Modi, including on issues related to climate change. Mr. Modi has shown that development and sustainability can coexist.
Our culture has been, in a sense, under attack for a long time. And my chapter explores what Prime Minister Modi has done consistently, and even earlier what he did in his role as a Chief Minister. Prime Minister Modi has focused not just on Kashi Vishwanath Ji temple, but one explores various other temple towns that have been revived. And it's not just the worship places of Hinduism, but the worship places of all other religions that exist in India.
One thing unique about the Prime Minister is his ability to carry out schemes on scale. So we mentioned Aadhaar, then there was Jan Dhan, Swachh Bharat. Now we are seeing another very, very big initiative underway, which is the Nal Se Jal.
I asked a bystander why he supported Modi ji. The young boy confidently said, क्योंकि सपने दिखाना सिखाया है हमें मोदी जी ने, हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी ने. People trust Modi ji because he delivers. It is his success that has strengthened public trust in his leadership.
This book is not only a must-read for those interested in political science and governance, but it's also a masterclass in communications, in personal development, and in management studies.
In last 7 years,
I work in different parts of the world. I know how the health system works. No country in the world could have vaccinated 150 crore people in such a short period of time. It's simply not possible. But we have done it. So essentially, India has managed to prove that we can do amazing things, provided we have a leader like Mr. Modi.
It is his appreciation of the possibilities of technology which has enabled digital India, now entering what is called as the tech decade or techade. And just as we used technology to build Aadhaar, the Jam Trinity, many more things are happening. India is a digital leader in financial transactions done digitally. And this again is thanks to the big push that Prime Minister Modi gave UPI in the years after 2016.
A deeply nationalistic figure, someone who's almost driven by his desire to take India to a higher level, and the same nationalistic figure is actually very international, with an enormous curiosity about the world. So this nationalist, internationalist paradox that he represents is one part of it. The other, of course, is a leader who's very steeped in our history and culture, but who still realizes the promise of technology, who has a great belief in the power of science, who again uses one to reinforce the attractiveness and the strength of the other. There's a very strong orthodoxy about foreign policy. And I find it very fascinating about Prime Minister Modi that he had both the ability, the determination, and in some ways the vision to challenge that orthodoxy. I mean, I begin with how he actually, at the first swearing in, the idea of getting all our neighboring leaders to India was itself was a departure from traditional diplomacy as we know it. So in that sense, in the domain of foreign policy, it certainly was a breath of fresh air.
Here is a man who dared to dream big, because India is a country of a size of 1.4 billion people that needs leaders who can imagine big initiatives and can implement them on a scale. I am particularly delighted that I was tasked with the responsibility of writing a chapter on thinking big and executing in scale.
How do you deliver female empowerment is through sanitation. And the whole toilet program, providing toilets for every house, was a major campaign, a very, very successful campaign.
I think on this we generally keep our focus on a few macro indicators. But if you look at the real economy of India, bringing down open defecation or giving access to over 100 million toilets within the first 4 or 5 years of governance, I think has been one of the biggest achievements of Prime Minister Modi.
I tried to decode how and why Modi is winning elections continuously for 20 years with 3 assembly and 2 general elections with full majority. In fact, he never sat on opposition benches. Over the years of my election history suggests winning elections means winning the heart of the people, and it cannot be faked. Let's try to understand the Modi magic, the art and the science behind it.
With prosperity and safety, with opportunity and support, with one and all for development, Shri Narendra Modi's 20 years in public office have been nothing less than an epoch-making tenure. With each passing day, his commitment to uplift the people of India across caste, creed, sect and religion only strengthens and continues to be the beacon that guides 1.3 billion Indians to greater heights. Modi at 20, Dreams Meet Delivery, is an important chronicle of our times. It is now available in all retail outlets and all online platforms. This book is now yours to ignite debates and discussions. Happy reading.
Thank you. I would now request our distinguished guest, Shri Pradeep Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director, Axis My
Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Sri Hemant Biswa Sarma ji, eminent personality sitting at dais, distinguished guests who are present here, friends and ladies and gentlemen. Modi at 20. My chapter is about election. Election and electioneering, change by Modi forever. This is my subject. When it comes to election, there are only three basic elements for who decide the fate of any election for that matter, which is people who elect the government and the leaders. Second one is the performance of incumbent government whom people have elected 5 years back. And the third is the leader whom they are going to elect. The people are going to elect. These are the three basic elements which decide the fate of any election